So Goyal came. Yeah, guys, we are telling this is a. It will take very less time. We'll try
Okay,
it.
sir.
Okay, so here it is. DNS. Normally, so earlier time, so I combined both DHCP DNS as a one single session, like a 1 hour session. But so I want to tell little bit about a DHCP, about a manually configuration, automatic configuration. If I got another chance, then I will explain this DORA process separately. But that is really a lot of technical words are there. So that's we will explain separately. But now important is what is a DHCP server? What is the difference between manual and automatic configuration? What DHCP server will do? This is a very important part. Next is DNS. What is DNS? What DNS will do? What is use of this DNS or how DNS server works? These are the basics. DNS again, DNS is also a protocol and there is a DNS server also there. Domain name system. Port number is 53. Okay. You know, AWS, anybody having touch with AWS, route 53. What is route 53? Is a DNS service. Okay. So general, first very basic level point I'm telling guys. And of course, there is a very big explanation. So if possible, I will try. Otherwise, I will leave it. Okay. For today. Separately, I had to explain that one. Because the main points are very small, important points are there that you have to cover first. Okay, what is this DNS server? So in DNS server, it contains a records. Okay, in DNS server, first point. In DNS server, it contains a records. What records? The records like a name and IP address. What is this name? Host name or a host in the domain name. In a domain wise, host name, that host IP address. For example, there is a server. So generally, I'm going with a small example, guys. It is I have a google.com. Think like this. Think like this. Google.com is a domain. Google.com is a domain. If you observe um, something search in Google, this is google.com, right? What is this www? But here it is not W, it is DOCS. It is DOCS. You can see DOCS. This total we call it as a URL, right? And this is, I say it is a domain. Do not say in any interview or for anyone, if they ask what is a DNS, what is domain, I'd say do not say it is google.com. Okay. So don't say like that. Okay. That is not correct answer. This is for our understanding first. Very basic example wise I'm explaining. Okay. And this is DOCS. Because of DOCS, I can able to work with this. Because this is a www, I can able to see the page. Okay. And another one is like I can open something. Here it is. Learn.microsoft.com. So it is learn.microsoft.com, not www.microsoft.com. Okay. Learn.microsoft. Yeah, WhatsApp. Web.whatsapp.com. Web.whatsapp.com. It is. So what is this thing? Let's see. Here it is. For every service, there is a server, right? Server, host, like that you can use. I have a www google.com. So this server is www server, for example. Of course, original name can be different. And I have another server. The server is DOCS server. So this name is become docs.google.com. Okay. For example, I have a meeting. Google Meet is there. You can see Meet. If it is think like this, Meet is a that server name which is providing that Google Meeting service. So meet.google.com. Okay. Google Drive. The Google Drive server is there. So we are thinking just it is an internet service, but somewhere it is that process related server must be there. No? So it is a Google Drive. So it's a server name is Drive, and it is drive.google.com. I said these are the servers. Means it is a machine. Means it contains IP address. It is also configured with a IP address. Now we'll go to the DNS server. I have a DNS server somewhere, like a is maintaining some Google is maintaining some DNS server. In the DNS server, there is a domain name called google.com. Under this google.com, I have a www server IP address. DOS server, meet Google Drive, that servers. It is how the structure is there. So there is a DNS server. There is a DNS server. The DNS server having a DNS server having a records of the different hosts in the domain, their IP addresses. If anybody want docs.google.com device IP address or server IP address, so you just ask a DNS server, it will give you. So this is one picture, guys. Okay. So this is different servers. Every device must have an IP address. So then we can communicate in that. Okay. But we cannot able to communicate with the IP address directly. Why? Because we don't know their IP address. I don't know learn.microsoft.com server IP address. I don't know web.whatsapp.com IP address. I don't know docs.google.com IP address. So what I'm doing is nothing. What we are doing is simple. We open a browser. In the browser, we type, for example, docs.google.com. Okay, I open docs.google.com in my browser. In your system, there is a DNS configuration. DNS server IP address is there. Okay, you want to see, I will show you, that is ncpa.cpl. So I connected with a wire. This is the wired connectivity. Okay. So this is my IP address. 192.168.1.226 is my IP address. This is my DNS server address. So what will happen? So the request will go to the local DNS server. Request go to local DNS server. request go to local DNS server. So in a local DNS server, sorry, point is, so first, guys, understanding in one part only. So there is a very big explanation. So that's we will you can see later, not now, just understand very basically. My PC, my PC send a request to this local DNS server, which IP address is, it is already in my PC. It will ask, I want docs.google.com IP address to the local DNS server. So local DNS server searches IP address of google.com. Okay. So then local DNS server returns to the IP address of docs.google.com to the our PC. Now you got an IP address. So you will communicate with an IP address of docs.google.com IP address. Okay. The same thing I've written here, guys. DNS servers maps name to IP address, which we call it as a DNS records. I am changing little bit. DNS records. Okay. What DNS server will do it? DNS server returns an IP address of a host, the domain based on the user request. Okay. So here it is. I already explained with the DOCS. Here it is www. You open a browser, you put a www.google.com or maybe www.facebook.com or learn.microsoft.com or a docs.microsoft.com or technet.microsoft.com. YouTube, www.youtube.com, studio.youtube.com. Okay. So when you put this thing in your browser, so you don't know the IP address of this particular thing. So we need an IP address of www.google.com, but you don't know. So what it will do? Our PC send a request to the DNS server. Ask the IP address of www.google.com. Then what DNS server will do? It returns an IP address of www.google.com. Now we can reach www.google.com server with an IP address. Okay, again I told here it is all communications by IP address only. We cannot communicate with the names. We have to communicate with IP. But you don't know the IP address. So you have to ask DNS server about IP address of this particular. You put only google.com, it won't work because it's not a host. It is just a name, domain name. So different hosts in the domains having a different IP addresses can be having different IP addresses. So you want this IP address, you want to know this IP address, or you want to communicate this server or a host with this name directly, you can. So we should get this IP address. It is simple to explain, is like you with a mobile phone contact list. So it's generally become an example nowadays, mobile phone contact list. Okay. So what is this mobile phone contact list? You have a multiple mobile, right? So you have a friends, family members. We cannot remember all phone numbers. What we are doing is we'll create a contact list. We create a contact list and we'll save their name and their mobile number, right? Save name and a phone number, same name and phone. Okay. For example, I want to call to someone, like I want to call to Ajay. In case I have a Ajay's phone number. So in my contact list, I open Ajay and press the dial button. The call goes with Ajay's phone number. Okay. Ajay's phone number, sorry. Ajay's phone number. Call goes with Ajay's phone number because the telecommunication people, the mobile network people don't know who is Ajay, but our mobile knows Ajay's phone. So with the phone number only, call will go. It is same way that you don't know the IP address of a particular host or a domain in the host. Okay, so you send a request to the local DNS server. Of course, it is such, it's not having that IP address, but it will give you returns IP address of this pvcs.google.com. Then you
Sir,
will
your
communicate
voice
with
is
IP
not
address.
clearly audible, sir.
Voice is not clear. 1 second. Let me share it again. Now, can you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is contact list having a name and phone number. When you call someone, open the name and call. So, but call goes with a phone number. Same way, you try to open a website with a name, or maybe you try to contact. Either maybe it is a ping request, or maybe HTTP request, or it can be FTP request. So, what it is a maybe a remote desktop related request with a name when you are trying to contact. So, your system is searching for an IP address for that particular. So, I'm trying to ping to the www.google.com. So see, I'm pinging www.google.com. So in the earlier days, when we open um, in a browser, it will shows IP address on the browser directly once it is got an IP address. Now it is not showing. That's why we are trying this. See, first I'm getting an IP address of a www.google.com, then ping request. Let's see, it is little different IP address I got it. Okay, so that is different host. This is a different host. So obviously, different host means different IP address. First, I got that IP address first, then I will send request will go. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to explain. Okay, so when it is comes to the DNS guys, there's so many other names also. It comes NetBIOS. NetBIOS means your computer having a name and your computer having an IP address. So if it is system name and an IP address. If you are mapped like that, that is a NetBIOS. LLMNR. LLMNR also same NetBIOS concept only. Name to IP address, but NetBIOS name to IPv4, LLMNR name to IPv6. We have a Win servers. We have a Win server. What is this Win server? Win server is not using nowadays, but earlier days, Windows to Windows time, that is the Win server is there. It is like a it is a name server, like a DNS, but different from DNS. Okay. So Wins is what's in Windows, but not friendly with other operating systems. It does not give you FQDN. It does not support IPv6. So DNS support IPv6, DNS, FQDN. What is this FQDN? Fully qualified domain name. So if you see, this is my domain name and this is my host in this domain. What is the FQDN? My host name and the domain name. It's only one part, guys. If in case you have a subdomain, so again, host name, subdomain, and a domain. So that is how the DNS names are there. You can see google.com, docs.google.com, web.whatsapp.com. I can learn.microsoft.com. These are all FQDN. It represents a particular server or a particular host in this particular domain. You can try like this, like a ping. I think it is a DNS server. This means google.com DNS server site. Okay. There's so many other kind of stuff like that. And there is a good explanation about how in internet you got an IP address. Rectangle. Okay, so guys, important points again in a DNS. Once again, what is a DNS? What a DNS server will do? Okay, how we are getting an IP address from a DNS server. Okay, as I said, guys, there is must be a DNS server. So you have a DNS server. From this DS server, you are getting an IP address of a particular domain in the host. Sorry, host in the domain. This IP address you want it, you ask a local DNS server, and local DNS server is giving an IP address. But who is this local DNS server? In your home, you never seen this any separate server, right? Other than your Wi-Fi router. Again, this as act like a your DNS. So your Wi-Fi router is act like a DHCP server. Your Wi-Fi router is act like a your local DNS server. We always call it as a local DNS server. Okay. In a reality, you have a system. So this is your PCA. C1, something it is. Either you open a website or maybe using something like a remote desktop related or maybe FTP related, something you are trying to find. So I'm giving one example already, that is docs.google.com. You don't know the IP address. So what will happen? Request go to your local DNS server, which is in generally your Wi-Fi router. And you're asking, because you don't know who it is. We know only this is our DNS server. That's it. Okay. It having a record or not, we don't know. So we are asking, I want a docs.google.com IP address. Your local DNS server is here just your Wi-Fi router. It does not contain that much database. What it will do? It forward that query to the forwarder. It forward this DNS query to the forwarder. This is forwarder. It forward the query to forwarder. It is asking, I want docs.google.com. Forwarder also do not have record of docs.google.com IP address. But what is this forwarder? This forwarder generally maintained by our ISPs. In internet, it is maintained by ISP provider, internet service provider. It contains root hints. Yeah, tell me. It contains root hints. Root hints means in this world, this DNS and an IP addresses are maintained by IANA ICANN. So there is a totally 13 root hint servers are there, entire world. Each name is A, B, C, D, E, like this. F, like that. 13 root hint DNS servers are there. Okay, root hint servers. Next, it is a root hint server. It is a server. means it is a machine. It contains an IP address. So this root hint servers IP addresses available in the forwarder. Okay. A's IP, B's IP. Their name is like that. Root hint. Server first one is A, second one is B, third one is C, like that. Okay, there's 13 root hint servers. Each name is like A, B, C, D kind of stuff. Okay. So each one having an IP address. That IP address is we call it as a root hints. This list of root hint servers and their IP addresses called a root hints. Okay. That root hints are available in forwarder. What is this forwarder will do? If forwarder will ask this root hint server, any one of the nearest root hint server. Because all root hint servers, all root servers having same database. What are the A data is there? Same is for B also. So this forward will ask A or a B or a C. I want an IP address of this .com server. I want a IP address of .com server. Guys, again, look at here. This is DOCS and Google.com. Okay. This is a .com means it is a top level domain. For example, you want to register a domain. So I'm going to register a domain for my organization or for me, for my website. So you can see there is a lot of companies are trying to sell you this. I go to GoDaddy or maybe Namecheap or maybe another one. So this is not at all working. No problem. So I will go to GoDaddy. See it is. You want to register a domain. So there is a third party vendor. You can see like I want a Latif. See it is. If you want a .com, then you can get it with this 499 rupees for first year. Okay, you can do it. Try .in also. It is first year 49 rupees. .ch. So very costly. Why? .cloud, .co, .store. I'm maintaining e-commerce, then store, shops. That is also for e-commerce. That is good. .me, .co, .in. Only few only it is showing. Okay. If you search in different way, like a GoDaddy, Big Rocks, try Big Rocks. Okay. So you can see here also .com, .net, .in, .org, .co, .in, .design, .online. Okay. So this is hosting plans, but this is domain registration plans. Okay. So .net, .store, shop, .live, .dev, .us, .info. These are the top level domains. Information is located in this. Okay. For example, this is my .com. This is .NET server. This is .org server. This is maybe .in. And this is maybe .online. Maybe .store. And something. Okay. So .com, .NET, .org from so many years. ORG organization, .NET means network commercials.com. So these are servers means they are having an IP address. So what is this root DNS server contains? Information about these things. Where is .com server means their IP address. .NET server IP address. .org IP address. .in their IP address. Okay. .co IP address. Like this, top level domains, their servers, that server's IP address located in the root DNS servers. So what my forward is doing, it reaches a root DNS server as IP address of .com server, IP address of .com server. So this root DNS server give IP address of .com server, IP address of .com server. The forwarder reaches .com server, and what is this .com server contains? You have a google.com, the total.com's related IP address. Microsoft.com, their IP address. YouTube.com, IP. Maybe Facebook.com. Okay. So whenever people are registered to the .com, and that the .com, the domain name with the domain specific DNS servers, the name servers, IP addresses will be registered under this. Same way, for example, I know some website, for example, Latif.net. Okay, I registered a Latif.net. Then that is I have a name server. So that is Latif.net server. That is I given an IP address. So there I domain name and their IP address. So I have to ask, I want a google.com DNS servers or a name servers IP address. So it has a name IP address, then it will return this is the IP address of google.com. Again, now what we know? I know the name servers google.com's IP address or DNS server google.com. Just before one picture is there now. This is the DNS server google.com. The Google's DNS server it is. And what I want docs.google.com IP address. The same thing I'm writing here. It is for www that server's IP address. docs IP address. These are records, guys. Host records, host A record, host relay records, NS records, alias records. So many records are there inside. Okay. So these are all called as records. Record means name and IP address. Information. Record means information. Okay. Meet.google.com's that host IP address. Okay. So drive.google.com. So our forwarder reaches google.com and asks this docs.google.com's IP address. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now I got this what I want docs, right? So now this is having docs.google.com IP address. So it is given the IP. Now forward got an IP address of docs.google.com. It will give it to our local DNS server to our system. Now we know the IP address of this docs.google.com. Of course, somewhere, this docs.google.com server is available, right? Now we know the IP address. So what we will do directly means, of course, through internet only, but just for our understanding, I've written put a straight line. With this IP address, we can communicate this devocs.google. So usually this much storage this happens in the real internet. So this is, guys, understand how actually query happens.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first point is I
Yes, sir.
told from here. Very good, very good. First point I told here. This is remaining is big story. Okay. This is second one. What is the first one I told? Client send a request to the local DNS server and ask an IP address of this particular host or a domain. Ask an IP address of this docs.google.com. Local DNS server returns an IP address of docs.google.com. But how this is will find, that is a second story. Okay, that's the point. In internet, a lot of people are using internet nowadays, right? And a lot of demand for requesting an IP address of Google, Google.com or anything. So many websites we are going through every day. So on local DNS server or on a ISPs forwarders, so a lot of demand is increases. Okay? For these request and kind of stuff. So what they will do, they'll maintain DNS caches. What is this DNS cache? When once any query has happened, it will store that query for a short time. For example, I have another PC. Okay, another request came. Same, for example, same docs.google.com IP address for that one, and it will go to forwarder, go to directly DNS cache. Okay, from this DNS cache, we can get an IP address immediately without doing all this kind of work. Okay, normally you want to tell something. That's like a, you have to do all the work to find a something. And once you know, if you remember, then you will tell an answer, right? So no, sir, this is an IP address. Okay, so you need to search again. So if, for example, you ask me what is your laptop IP address, what is the current IP address? 192.168.1.226. How can I tell? Because last time I checked it. Okay, maybe you ask me in afternoon or maybe tomorrow. Then I will tell. Let me check once again because it's not. Maybe I cannot remember for a long time. So I will remember for a certain particular time to improve the fastness. So DNS cache is improve the not only this separate DNS caches server guys. Our system also remembers the kind of stuff. Okay, so here it is. If you go to the history, okay, there you can see cookies, cached image data, not history. It's not showing history. History. Okay, of course, history is a what links you access, not cookies. Caches, DNS caches. For example, you can try like this here. ipconfig display DNS. So in your system, whenever a query is happened, there uh, um, IP address will be stored in our PCs like this. But we want better. Something. What is this? We don't know. So yeah, maybe some other records. This is what we are. So very old, very recent record. I'm trying to search the base records. So if you want to clear it, so then we can do like this. IP can't pay flush. Maybe I will try now something which is very newly coming, right? I think it is wasted. It's showing wall to new or new to wall. Yeah, it's a live something it is showing. So actually, it is not showing correctly. It is showing that some static records inside. I know that one now, Pani. Okay, just this is the thing, guys. What is the cache? Even in your browser, so there is a caches to store the previous queries. Next one is a physical records, manual records also there in a host file. There is a host file in your PC. We can put a records manually also without using DNS server. Okay, so this is the point is this is much happens. That is enough for you. Where are we? So this is about your DNS, guys. Once again, what is DNS? That is important. How DNS works. Okay, so where is your DNS server's IP address? Let's see. Who is your DNS server? Mostly our Wi-Fi router. That is enough. So tomorrow we'll see other topics like what is an Outlook and other kind of stuff. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.